Hey guys, I just came to talk to you about some Domination spoilers. So, first thing I wanted to talk about, or I guess maybe not the first thing, but here's the thing that we're talking about, and that is the Vitar orbs. They're these fun little tokens that go in a zone. In the manual, they give you the instruction book that it comes with it. It has a number of map layouts you can do, because you can customize your arena so it's not just a 4x3. And these little guys are on there. Now, whenever there's a Vitar when the game starts, they have two guys, or one guy, one of these guys, guarding it. The Slack and the Uslak. They're the Orb Guardians, is what they call them. And these guys are neutral. They're not owned by anyone. When you destroy them, they're obliterated. And kind of the big idea to Domination is trying to make a build that can rush kill at least one of these guys, or maybe not even rush kill him. It's obviously there's not a meta for this. But figure out how you can kill these guys without just running up and punching me in the face, because they're pretty tough. They when they're in one of these Vitar Orb zones, they're anchored and unmovable, and during upkeep they always guard. And the only way you can take an orb is to kill one of these guys. So if you have elusive or something, you can't run up and just grab an orb really quick. Now the fun thing about the orb is they start off, and when you manage to kill one of these guys, you can do a melee attack, and you don't even have to do damage to it as long as your attack succeeds. As in you're not dazed and you miss the orb. It's considered on then, and you can never turn it off once it's on, but you're considered to own it. And the reason why it's important to turn it on and be the one that turns it on is because when you turn it on, you get either 2 health, 2 mana, or a health and a mana. And then during the upkeep phase, for every single one of these guys that you own, you can gain a health or a mana. And you gain a Vitar point. And the whole point of Domination is you can either kill the mage like standard arena, or you can gain enough points of these Vitar points to win the game. Yeah. Okay, so one of the other things that Domination has to bring you is they have tiles, and they're little arena tiles, so you can custom make your own arena. And the standard 4x3, it can now be, you can have little quarters now, or you could have little, you can place it however you want. And it comes with 20 tiles, and each one is considered one zone. So you could have an arena now that's a 5x20 arena. And again, you can come up with all sorts of strategies or how you want to make it look. And some of these tiles, they're also special tiles. Like they do special things. For instance, this one, it's like the Portal to Oblivion or something like that. Pretty much what you do is you can... if you have a creature and you own it and control it, you can sack that creature. You gain half its mana cost that you spent to summon it back, and you can gain a Vitar. And so this can help you really ramp your speed up towards winning this game. And I was explaining earlier what Vitar are. When you control an orb, you gain it per upkeep. And so it's a pretty important zone to control, and you're considered to control it when you have a creature in it and your opponent does not. Let's look at some of these other tiles here. There's 9 special tiles out of the 20, and so let's say this one here. This one's a Kuroda Pool, and what Kuroda does is, of course, if you have armor, it reduces your armor by 1, or you take 1 damage if you don't have Kuroda at all. And this is a pretty neat one, because when you walk into it, it hinders all non-flying creatures, because they're sifting through Kuroda Pool. But you can also do things like Jet Stream, Force Push, teleport your opponent, so they get like basically dunked in this pool. And if you time it just right, you could really get those corrodes and stacked on everyone. Like Force Wave might become a really viable strategy with this guy. Let's see what else we got here. We have the Ethereal Mist. This guy, everyone that's in this zone is obscured, which currently obscured is very hard to come by. And basically that means you can't be hit by spell 2 zones away. So if you want to be attacked, like with a fireball or something, they need to get up close and personal to you. Very neat tile. It's very defensive, or you could use it for offensive kind of guy. This guy here, this is just a lava pit. Basically, it hinders you if you're not flying, and if you're in that zone during upkeep, you take a burn. And a burn, you roll a die and you take whatever damage it says, and if it doesn't say to take damage, then the burn gets removed. Another cool card, kind of like Kuroda Pool, does a different effect. It's more direct damage, and it can really go with that Force Push, Jet Stream, things like that. There's some cards in here that let you move guys too. Let's see. So here's another one, Samson Circle. This one's a fun one. A lot of people say that necromancers are really, really good. This one, whatever creature's in this zone, if it's living, it can gain a health per upkeep. If it's not living, like a skeleton or a zombie, sorry about that. My cameraman's giving me a weird look. Like a skeleton or zombie, it will take 1 damage per turn. Yeah, so Samson Circle. Living guys, regenerate 1. Non-living, takes damage. Really neat. Another cool little focal point. You could build walls around it so they have to, trudge through that if they're a zombie deck. Or if you're looking for a nice little safe haven, you just put all your creatures in there and you just do range. Pretty neat. The Septagram. This gives all the creatures in there except for the mage warded. And warded is a very new, cool rule that says that if you are warded, you cannot be hit by an enchantment or incantation. Pretty neat. You can think of some obvious things that are very good. Obviously, you can't be teleported. You can't be force pushed. So you could have creatures there that are ranged that can really hold down the fort. Pretty neat stuff. And any of these zones, you can always put Vitar in. And you can kind of mix those in and you can create some weird scenarios. Spike Pit Tile. It's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, when you walk into it, the first creature, they take 4 dice of damage, piercing 2, and it's unavoidable, and it hurts. Everything else just gets hindered as they walk around the bloody mess of a spiked tile. This one's really fun. The Vitorak. Now, this one, during upkeep, I believe it's upkeep, you get to summon a Slack, which is one of the Orb Guardians, and you pay its cost, and you have to pay one of the Vitar, one of these little points that you get from the Vitar orbs during upkeep. And the thing is, those Slacks are not part of your spellbook. You pull it out of the game, you bring it in, and it's a free creature. It's a very cool guy. This would probably have a lot of fighting over, because having control over this means you can quickly ramp up the advantage. Last but not least, probably my favorite, I'm not sure yet, the Secret Passage Tile. This comes with these little guys here, 2 of these little tiles, Secret Passage. And basically, as a move action, it would be like moving into another zone, like adjacent to it, except these secret passages could move across the whole board. So you're not really safe from anything when you have a secret passage out there, because the positioning of this is insane. There are so many things to guard and so many things to consider. Very cool tile. That's tiles. So with the new board comes 20 tiles, and so of course the original is 3x4, but this one you have a 5x4, and that is really crazy. Ooh, I'm just dropping stuff everywhere, and that is really crazy. You can suddenly do. I guess let's talk about why they do that. They now have multiplayer rules in the book. It's official. This is how you can play it. And they have free-for-all, like a 3 or 4 man free-for-all, or they have 2v2 or 3v3 teams. And they have all the rules for, if one of the mage dies on in a 2v2, what happens to their creatures? What happens to their enchantments? They have things where, what if everyone goes for one mage, and so they just focus fire? They have little rules that are if you think that that's going to be unfair, they have cool little lifelink rules between mages. And the fact that they've increased the arena allows you to pick the size that you're comfortable with to make it a longer or slower game. Let me see. Yeah, they have a lot of just interesting stuff. And since the main domination game is kill the mage or get the points, you can also have these team games where you play for the points as well. And so Secret Passage suddenly becomes really interesting with a 5x4 because you're not suddenly just taking up the whole arena. You have these two interzones more connected or things like that. Very interesting stuff. I am actually really impressed with the way they came out with that because these rules have been talked about a lot on the forums, but they've never been officially released, and they're solid. They're very solid rules. So one of the other things they have in this, in all these tiles they put out, they put out the Vitar orbs and stuff like that, is they have Conjuration owning tiles. And basically, if your marker is yellow, let's just say, my favorite color to choose, because yellow always wins. Basically, if you have a conjuration like one of these Vitar orbs or any of your other ones, or if you're playing a multiplayer where there's 4 players and it's really hard to keep track of whose Battleforge is whose or mana crystals, you can place these little guys on them, and they're all sorts of colors and stuff like that, and it lets you know who owns which conjuration. Very fun, very neat, and for multiplayer, this supports it totally. For who controls which orb, it's perfect for that. Very important little tile they put out there. Really happy they did that. So the manual here has, I think they offer like 15 different types of maps. Let's see if I can get one up here. Yeah, like here's just a bunch of different maps you can have for Arena. And again, you don't have to use the Vitar orbs. They just have suggestions for like Corrode and things like that. Really solid. Like this one is really cool. Like let's just see here. Like they suggest how much Vitar you need to win. And these are all like very well tested maps that are really nice. Like let's see, this is a 3-man free for all with all sorts of stuff going on there. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's all I want to cover for this.